Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Baton Rouge's Live Music's LiveWire. Tonight, once again, we have Mr. Mike Shepard with us tonight, bring another luminary to join that exclusive club of the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame. We are very honored and very lucky to have with us Mr. Dean Mathis. Dean, right here, welcome.
Welcome.
Dean was a member of a group that many of you might remember from back in the 60s called the New Beats. Had a huge hit with a song called Bread and Butter. If you don't remember it, you weren't born at that time. It was really a spectacular song that made quite an impact around the country, not to mention a number of other songs that they may have had that you would have run across. Excuse me. They had them, but you may have run across them. So we're going to get into a little bit of an interview, talk to Dean, and find out a little bit about him. And we're going to talk a little bit about the career. And we're going to get a bit of an introduction. They're doing a formal introduction at another place this evening. But we're going to have a chance to visit with Dean a little bit. So, Dean, welcome again. And
thank you.
I'd like to find out a little bit about, well, the career with the New Beats. I know you had a career before the New Beats.
Yeah, me and my brother.
All right. But as you got that group coming, tell me a little bit about the formation of that group, how it came together.
Well, what I did, if you remember Bye Bye Love by the Everly Brothers.
Oh, yes. Everyone does.
I took that song and rearranged it to fit the Four Seasons, because it would have been a great Four Seasons song. And I got a hold of my brother and Larry Henley, and we got together and rehearsed it, and we cut a demo on it. And I sent it to Boudleaux Bryant, who wrote the song.
Okay.
And I wrote a note, and I told him it'd be good for the Four Seasons. I figured he could get it to the Four Seasons because of who he was.
Right.
And well, he called me back right when he got it, and he says, "Man, I like it." He said, "I love it." He says, "Why do you want the Four Seasons to do it?" I said, "Well, I ain't never thought about us doing it." He said, "Well, I like it. I like the way y'all done it." He says, "I'm going to talk to Wesley Rose, who was the CEO of Echo Rose." And he says, "I'm going to put my 2 cents worth in it." And he says, "I'm going to see what we can get done." So he did. Wesley called me about 2 days later, said he had heard the tape, he liked it, and he wanted to record it. He said, "Do you think the boys would want to do it?" And I said, "I'll call them and see." So I called Mark and I called Larry, and they wanted to do it. Well, me and Mark was already assigned to Hickory as a duet, and Larry was signed to Hickory as a single. So we just kind of emerged that whole thing there to make a group. And so we got the song Bread and Butter. And we cut it. It was in the top 10 in 3 weeks. And when it was in the top 10, we did American Bandstand. And then we done 2 or 3 other big shows. Shindig. We did Shindig several times. And there's some other shows, but that's basically what we did.
So you're looking at, that was back in 64, 65, 66, the era of Shindig. And, of course, Dick Clark was from forever. He'd still be around today if he hadn't gone on someplace else to do his program. I promise you that.
That's right.
Now, having been someone, I had a chance to meet Dick Clark myself.
Great guy.
Oh, very, very nice guy. I think he really, truly was America's oldest teenager.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely.
And, of course, I've seen y'all's performance on American Bandstand.
Did you see it?
Oh, yeah, it's on YouTube. Anyone can find that. That's it's worth it, I tell you.
Well, I tell you, when we did that American Bandstand, we had no rehearsal on choreography. We had just got together. And it like, well, I was doing one thing, my brother was doing something else, and Larry was doing something else. And I saw it when it was, later, and I'm thinking, boy, that's downer. That ain't no good. But the song is what we got by with it.
Well, so often the song is always what carries the day. And it was interesting to find out how with the arrangement of the Four Seasons song you were doing for Bye Bye Love.
Bye Bye Love.
You know, the time that was taking place, it was different for songwriters, song arrangers.
I want to show you the little difference.
Okay.
Bye, 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 love, bye, bye, love, whoa, whoa. Frankie. There goes my baby.
And he'd sing
That
it with
would've
that
been a hit
nasal
for
thing
them.
right in here. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But the arrangement is different, and that's
Yeah.
why it's kind of remarkable to see the way songs came together, certainly back at that time compared to what we imagine it is today. You know, and it's pretty remarkable to see that. Now, aside from that, you had, Everything's Gonna Be All Right.
Run, Baby, Run.
Run, Baby, Run. I can't even read my own writing. I wrote this down. Ching! Right over the top of my head there.
Yeah.
But, that's something that actually does a remarkable thing, because it's a career that has got you here today.
Oh, yeah.
And this was many years later. So obviously you have been doing things since that time.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of retirement, which you deserve.
I tell you what I got in. I didn't say, but no, I got in. Me and a guy by the name of Stan Schulman. He runs 20th Century Fox here in Nashville. Me and him partnered up on a deal with K-Tail. You remember K-Tail?
Oh yes, K-Tail Records.
We made a deal to re-record the original artist, and so I produced that for K-Tail for 2.5 years.
No kidding.
I cut over 500 masters from K-Tail.
I couldn't tell you how many times I saw that K-Tail commercial after school when I got home.
Yeah.
I can't
That's
tell
always
you
the
how
hits,
many
okay?
things I got sort of involved in with Ronnie Shave and Joe Shave.
Oh my goodness, well,
With
yes,
Ronco?
indeed. Yeah. Well, Ronco, that was Ron Popeil, and that was all part of all that particular thing, So now you had, of course, been with Acuff Rose, which is one of the major publishing houses.
Yeah,
That's the one
at
out
the
of
time they
Nashville.
were the biggest at
Right,
the time.
because you still have ASCAP and BMI and all this, but Acuff Rose is one of the big dogs out there. Maybe not as much anymore as they were at one time. No, that was
they sold out to
yes.
Sony. Sony owns them.
They'll take the money.
Yeah.
Okay, but then now you have a connection to Shreveport, Louisiana, which is what brings you here for Louisiana's Music Hall of Fame. You came traveling over here. Now you told me a little bit of that story. So you can tell us that.
How I got to
How you
Louisiana?
ended up in Louisiana.
Well,
I know it wasn't the food, and that's something you should, because the food is the best
you
in the
remember,
world here.
You remember Hank Williams?
Oh, of course.
Well, there was a woman that married him, Billie Jean,
Eugene.
and she was from Bossier City. And she married Hank. Well, they were only married 30 days before he died. And
she turned right
so
around and married Johnny
Paul
Horton.
Howard, yeah, right. I was going to come to that. Anyway, she went on tour, played the theater there in Rome, Georgia, and I was in a band. We had a 30-minute show every day. And she played this theater, and we went down to the theater, and this guy by the name of Paul Howard, he was on the Grand Ole Opry. He'd been on it for 9 years. And you remember the song Stay All Night, Stay a Little Longer?
Yes.
He was the guy that sung that every Saturday night.
Okay.
Paul Howard. Well, anyway, he hired me to play with his Arkansas Cotton Pickers. And that's how I got to Shreveport.
Okay. Well, that's one way to get here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and then from there, now, one of the interesting points I think we can garner out of all this, that a pop song from the early 1960s, which really was R&B and pop rolled together, came out of the Nashville tradition, which was really more of a country music thing.
Oh, it's all, yeah.
So the kind of complete circle here of the fusions of all these different kinds of music really is a very American thing, which will bring us back around to why, with the Louisiana connection, of course, you're brought into the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame. So I want to congratulate you
Well,
for
thank
that.
you.
Early.
Proud to be here.
And I will let Mike take over and talk a little bit about that, since
Mike,
he is the
thank you,
inductor-in-chief.
Welcome.
Watch the leg there, young man. So go ahead.
Okay. I had a couple of things I want to ask you about. One thing we're going to do tonight, we're going to do a fourth song.
Huh?
We're going to do a fourth song, Wind Beneath My Wings, that Larry wrote.
Yeah, that Larry. I want to tell you something about Larry. After we cut bread and butter, Larry, me and him was talking one day, and he says, I want to write. I said, well, write. I didn't know that he was that how good he'd be, you know. And he started writing, and his first songs was okay. But he wrote a song that we cut. It should have been a hit, called Am I Not My Brother's Keeper? It was sort of like Peter, Paul, and Mary, that type of song. If they'd have cut it, it'd probably been a hit. But R&B pop group cut it, it just We had a good record, but it just wasn't a hit. But that was the first song I recognized that Larry wrote that was really good. It was a great song. And I told him, I said, Larry, keep writing, you getting there. We were coming back from Europe on the airplane, going to New York. I was sitting back there by myself. There was nobody on the plane hardly. Larry had a tablet. He come out and sat down by me. He said, read this. I read it. And I said, man, this is a hit. He said, you think so? I said, I know so. That's a hit song. And you know what it was? Till I Get It Right. Tammy Wynette did it, number 1. Then it wound up on the B-side of Kenny Rogers. Was it Kenny or... yeah, I think Kenny Rogers. Had Lucille. It was he cut on the B-side of Lucille. Lucille sold 3 million records. So Larry took that ride. He done that several times on stuff like that. Then when he wrote Wind Beneath My Wings, he told me, he said it was in 30 gold albums.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. It was a really magnificent song.
I told myself, you finally made it.
Well, I had an old friend in Baton Rouge named Dick Holler.
Who?
Dick Holler.
Uh-huh.
And he wrote BS songs for guys in Baton Rouge, guys around Baton Rouge. Then he started writing for Snoopy and the Red Baron.
Oh, Snoopy and the Red Bear, oh yeah.
Okay?
Snoopy.
And he did several of those. And then all of a sudden, Dick came out with a great song. Abraham, Martin, and
Oh
John.
yeah, a great song. That was a great song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, man, it was just there.
Yeah, that's right.
And see, that's the magic with songwriters themselves. It's amazing. And
Yeah.
The Wind Beneath My Wings, you mentioned that.
Oh,
That's
yes,
a number of, really a couple of, a decade and a half by.
And Wind Beneath My Wings in the same category.
Yes, and they are really giant songs that the connection is there.
Right.
And that's another remarkable reason why you're here with us today.
Yeah,
Now,
that's it.
One of the things we're going to mention is Mike's book. Mike, bring your book out here to the audience right there. It's called Shepherding the Music. This is a bit of a history of Louisiana music. And definitely ordained with pictures. A remarkable coffee table book. I think everyone should have one. Plus, it gives you a bit of a history and some wonderful stories about musicians that have graced the corners of this state and enjoyed some good crawfish etouffee with the rest of us. And red beans and rice, not to mention all the other delicacies you find right here. And if you would be so kind as to go to Baton Rouge's livemusic.com on YouTube and subscribe to our channel and hit the red bell for notifications and certainly put a like and a comment down. We would certainly appreciate it. It definitely helps us bring you more interesting stories like we have today with Dean, from the new beats. I mean, my goodness, this is hits that all roll all the way into the 70s and into the 80s. Wonderful songwriting, wonderful stories. I would hope that you would not only watch this tonight and go back and watch it again, because you'll always pick up something new as it comes across. And, of course, Mike Shepard and his books. This is something to pay attention, and more to come, yes.
Go to Alan's place tonight.
Tonight. Now, this won't show tonight, so it would be late to say, but it'd be an old school barbecue where some of these other inductions are also held and some of the live performances are. But we definitely want to thank y'all for coming by tonight and visiting with us here. I'm Bob Sanchez. I thank you very much for coming and hope to see y'all again sometime soon. So, Baton Rouge's live music on YouTube. That's with the apostrophe S. And I look forward to seeing y'all again. Thank you very much.
Good night, guys.